Coming up on the April 20th edition of Sports Extra. New uniforms are coming for Carolina football. We check out what they'll look like and how people are reacting to the change.
The ACC is theirs. It took a visit to Durham, but women's lax won its first conference title since 2012.
And I know the pit's a rectangle, but it's home to one special equal-sided quadrilateral. Be there or be square. All that and more, Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
If these football uniform changes teach us anything, Molly, it's that if you put Argyle on literally anything, Carolina fans will love it. Welcome to the final spring semester edition of Sports Extra. I'm Alana Albrecht.
And I'm Molly Oak. I know. Don't get too emotional, Mom and Dad. Mostly Mom. We have plenty to talk about before we get to the end. Let's call up the fashion police and see what they have to say about these new Carolina uniforms. Who doesn't like new things? The official release of the new uniform designs is about an hour from now. Here's a sneak preview. Even though the project has been hush-hush, the UNC Athletics Department has released some teaser videos about what went into making the new uniforms. They're supposed to be a blend of tradition and innovation. And the Student Stores is in on the reveal too, keeping a whole display case under wraps in anticipation of the big unveiling later this evening. Academic fraud, paper classes, losing record, who cares? Probably some people. The Heels are going to be looking good in their new football uniforms. At Harris2_1 wrote, been watching all these #OurBlue videos this week leading up to today. Where's the new uniform already? At UNC Diehards knows a little more. #Tar Heel Nation, ready for our #Blue unveiled tonight, #Targyle. You can expect a lot more Twitter reaction after the official reveal. Here in the journalism school, we take our freedom of speech seriously, but those rights don't extend to all. Student athletes agree to policies that limit some of their civil liberties. Rosita Cox has more.
It was embarrassing.
Kenny Selman thought his social media record was spotless.
I went into that meeting thinking that I was clean, and I was like, oh, there's no way.
It was a social media training all student athletes had to attend. A company dug through their profiles on Facebook, Instagram, MySpace, Twitter, and other social media sites. Selman was one of the targets.
You know, it was kind of invasive, but it wasn't negative for me.
He says the training taught him a lot about social media and agrees with UNC's policies.
I mean, the policy basically is don't post anything other than, whether it's athletics or academics or, some fun friend stuff, but you can't really alter that line that much. So
UNC uses Varsity, a third-party monitoring company, to keep track of athletes' sites. Dr. Tori Xtra says the policies infringe on athletes' freedom of speech and aren't beneficial.
The only way to learn is to really engage in it freely and fully and with some guidance, not, I think, with surveillance and overt hand-holding and constant restrictions.
Violating the policies could lead to the student having to remove the post or even being dismissed from the team. In Chapel Hill, I'm Rosita Cox reporting.
Selman agrees with the policy and thinks it does more good than harm.
On Saturday, the men's lacrosse team headed to South Bend for a clash of titans, number 1 versus number 2, and the game lived up to the hype. Jimmy Bitter was a go-to guy for the Heels, 3 goals, including this one, where he does it all by himself. Who needs teammates when you can do that? And Chad Tutton, doing Chad Tutton things. That one deserves a replay. King Tut threw 2 defenders. That goalie just had no chance. He finished with a hat trick as well. The lead seesawed back and forth the entire game, but Notre Dame would pull it out. The Irish, down a goal with 40 seconds to go, stunned the Heels by scoring not 1 but 2 goals in the final seconds to hand the Heels a heartbreaking 15-14 loss. The women's lacrosse team had a huge win this weekend. The second-ranked Heels traveled to Durham to take on number 3 Duke for the ACC regular season title. The Blue Devils had the first goal, but that was their only lead. Sophomore Maggie Bill tied it up right away. The Heels went on a 5-goal streak, with senior Kelly Devlin scoring 2 of the 5. That's 5 goals in 8 minutes. Both Allie Messenger and Sammy Jo Tracy had hat tricks, and there was a special visitor on the sidelines. Chancellor Carol Folt came out to celebrate the Carolina victory. Heels win 12-6, giving them the top seed in next weekend's ACC tournament in Charlottesville.
Most students know of J. Cole, the rapper from Fayetteville. Carolina basketball has a J. Cole of its own. Kelly Glendenning reports.
Junior Justin Coleman always dreamed of playing collegiate basketball, but that dream came crashing down his sophomore year of high school.
I stole the ball at half court, and I went up to dunk the basketball when I got to the basket, and the opposing player pushed me in the back, and I landed face first into the ground, and then I slid head first into the steel wall and broke my neck.
That play left Coleman with 3 fractured vertebrae in his neck, a fractured disc, and torn ligaments.
After that, that was kind of what really hit me, where I was like, I might not play again, and I didn't know what I was going to do.
After making a comeback his senior year, Coleman led his high school team to the conference championship. Just a few months later, he landed a spot on the junior varsity team for his freshman year at Carolina.
It's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared.
And he was prepared. After 2 seasons as a JV player, Coleman made his way to the varsity team this season. Coleman says his secret to success isn't necessarily his physical talent, but more so overcoming the mental aspect of the game.
You have to have a tough mental mindset, and you can't let anybody tell you that that you can't do anything.
Coleman says he's striving to make the best of his second chance at the game he loves.
I definitely have a reason to smile every day.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Kelly Glendenning reporting.
Going from a walk-on to one of the top recruits in the country, the number 13 player in the 2015 basketball class, Brandon Ingram, has announced that he will soon announce which school he's going to next year. So keep on waiting, everyone. He'll make his decision on April 27th. That's next Monday. He has 3 schools left to visit. Ingram is in Raleigh at State. Right, not sure why. And tomorrow he makes the trip to Durham, again, not sure why. And Wednesday he'll finally come to Chapel Hill. The talented shooter would be a welcome addition on the wing for Carolina.
The Diamond Heels headed up to Blacksburg this weekend in a coastal collision with the Virginia Tech Hokies. The Heels dropped the opening game Friday night 8-3. Mike Fox's team showed some tenacity on Saturday, though, winning 11-10. Rain prevented the possibility of a rubber match on Sunday. UNC sits second in the Coastal Division standings after splitting the series with the Hokies. It's the biggest event in basketball analytics every year, and where better for a conference of that type than here at UNC. Tate Frazier was there and joins us now live in our satellite studio.
Atlanta, NBA scouts, college coaches, and some big-name TV personalities were here in Chapel Hill this weekend discussing the role of analytics in basketball. I talked to Kurt Goldsberry, now a professor at Harvard and also a sports writer for Grantland.com, to let us know a little bit more.
As soon as you get past that, come out to an 18.1 over people's heads. How do you simplify the normal student at UNC?
Well, we all love basketball. Basketball is the most beautiful sport in the world. We all know that. So we're just trying to understand and reason about why certain players or why certain teams are better than other certain players and teams. And to do that, we need intelligence. We need information. So basketball analytics is nothing new. Points per game is an analytic. Free throw percentage is an analytic. These are the things that help us differentiate between good performances, average performances, and bad performances. So it sounds like a fancy thing, but it's just sort of emerging ways to figure out who's good and who's bad. Yeah,
For that free throw percentage, we have to shoot free throws better. Shoot them better.
It's a pretty simple formula. ESPN president and former Tar Heel John Skipper was actually the keynote speaker for the event, and it was a good time just immersing ourselves in basketball-related numbers. Back to you, Elena.
That was Tate Down Goes Frazier, live in our satellite studio. Thanks, Tate.
You'd expect things to... Hey, that's kind of rude. I'm trying to talk about y'all here. seriously, softball, simmer down. I'm trying to tell the good people out there about your chance. You know what? Fine. We'll talk about it when Sports Extra returns. People at UNC can say they've coached two sports, led Tar Heel teams to 4 ACC titles and 5 postseason appearances, been in charge of 13 Carolina athletics programs, and won the university's most coveted award for service.
Well, Dr. Beth Miller can, and Kendra Douglas has more about how the Senior Associate Director of Athletics has left her heel print.
During 4 decades of service to Carolina athletics, Dr. Beth Miller has gone from coach to athletics administrator. Now, she says it's time to retire and move on.
I've been here 40 years. That's a long time.
This former volleyball coach not only helped the Heels win ACC titles, but Miller also won the C. Knox Massey Award in 2008.
I was shocked because I really had no idea that I would even be a candidate or be worthy of that type of award.
She's made a major impact in Carolina athletics.
From being at every sporting event to just being a friendly face when you see her walking around campus.
Whatever job they needed her to do, she did. And she did it, to the very best of her ability and set the highest of standards and really set the bar for future administrators to follow.
She has hired almost all of our coaches. She's mentored them. She's worked with them. She has been a guiding force at Carolina, and since Carolina's been so good on a national basis, she's been a guiding force nationally as well.
And you can bet you'll continue to see her support her athletes.
It's been most meaningful to me is just watching our student athletes when they come in and seeing them mature and seeing them as they move through their 4 years here at Carolina.
Miller will certainly miss her job, but it's the Carolina family she'll miss the most. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kendra Douglas.
Athletics Director Bubba Cunningham says the department will never be able to replace Beth Miller.
The softball team took on rival NC State this weekend in Raleigh. The team split games 1 and 2, leading to a highly anticipated series finale. Kristen Brown boosted the Heels with this 2-run blast. What a bomb, and Brown wasn't done yet. In the 5th inning, her second home run of the day. Let's take a look at that monster shot again. Get out of town, says Kristen Brown, tying the UNC record for career home runs at 43. The Wolfpack would load the bases, but were unable to produce any runs. The Heels won 6-2 and are back in action Wednesday in their final home game against Elon. Hey, batter, batter, hey, batter, batter, swing. You expect to see fans getting hyped up at games, but what about the players? The Carolina softball team isn't afraid to get a little loud. Our Maggie Miller has more.
Softball stadium. Quiet, secluded, serene, except when things get rowdy in the dugout. Unlike any other sport on campus, the softball team makes even more noise than the crowd as a way to up their game.
I think with softball more than other sports, you have a lot of downtime, and so I think the chants and the cheers help bring everybody in, keep the energy up the whole time.
But do they practice their chants like they practice their batting? How do these cheers come about?
Some of them came from travel balls, so when we were younger and stuff, and so we just carried them on here. Sometimes you pull them from other teams, or we just make them up.
So we'll just get random beats going and just come up with random sayings or any conversation. If somebody says and it's catchy, then somebody else repeats it and we just roll.
Even Hall of Fame coach Donna Papa sticks to this method that players have been using since the Little Leagues.
If I do see them getting really quiet, I will definitely yell over there, and I'll be like this with my hands, going up come on, let's go. And softball players learn cheers and in the 10 and unders, 12 and unders, but they kind of get them a little more sophisticated when we get to this level. But it does help in the dugout just to keep everybody engaged.
Papa also says that chants can be used to get in the heads of the pitchers on the other team, throwing off their game from the bench. Maybe that's her secret to success. I don't know for sure, but what I do know is that I don't want to be on the mound against this Tar Heel team. In Chapel Hill, I'm Maggie Miller reporting.
The UNC softball team's hot streak goes beyond its past few wins and killer chants, continuing into recent player nominations for national awards. Infielder Taylor Wyke has been named as one of the 25 finalists for National Freshman of the Year. The North Carolina native leads the ACC in on-base percentage and batting average. Shortstop Kristen Brown was also nominated as one of the 26 finalists for National Player of the Year. The junior from New York is breaking many Carolina records with her home runs, including both single-season and career-long records.
Junior shortstop Kristen Brown joins us now. Thanks for being here, Kristen.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, so you've been named All-ACC twice in your career. There's a big jump in power this year, 20 home runs, and you've still got games left in the season. How have you developed so much power this year?
I mean, with my coach's help, of course, and I just go to the hitting cages every single day, try to fix my swing up a little bit. I have a lot of confidence, so I just go in there with a positive mindset and I just try to play strong.
And you have a big series coming up against Notre Dame. UNC's number 2 and they're number 3. Tell us what your mindset is going into that series.
I mean, they definitely have a lot of good players. We just got to prepare and just look at their stats and just get the game plan correct. And I think we're going to be great because they're great, we're great, but we're just going to come out on top.
And you have tied the UNC home run record. What would that mean this Wednesday against Elon to break that record?
I mean, it would be awesome. There's been such amazing hitters in Carolina, and to be able to have that record, I think that's the coolest thing.
Great. Well, thank you for being here with us, and best of luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you very much.
Paige Nielsen will be team captain for women's soccer next fall. She's an outstanding player on the field. But as Jenny Chu reports, there's so much more to her story.
4 years ago, Paige took a huge chance and gambled on walking on to the most storied program in the history of college athletics.
I was like a recruited walk-on. He wanted me to come here, but he's like, there's no money left.
Since then, she has been leading goal scorer and will be team captain this coming fall. It has been no easy feat for her to reach this point. Her mom, Kathy, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma 7 years ago. After chemo and a stem cell transplant, she was declared cancer-free. In September 2014, Kathy was again diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma.
She was a single mom. She raised 4 kids on her own. She put herself through college, coming from a very poor family. Then she got diagnosed with cancer twice. She's my hero.
While all this was going on, Paige continued to thrive as a player and student, while flying cross country to be with her mom as much as possible.
The only thing she said was, I want you to keep playing and doing your best at what you do because that's what I live for. We sometimes get sad about it, but we're like, all right, what's the next step?
A real credit to her and the fact she never quit on herself, obviously continued to support her mother and never quit on her team. And the thing that's really cool about Paige is you would never think she was on top of a mountain one day and buried the next, because she always seems to have this wonderful spiritual resilience.
There's just a lot of things going on, but when I wake up in the morning and go to practice, there's nothing better. There's not a better feeling than being with you girls. This is my family, and it's sad that I'm graduating in December.
No one on the team wants to see her leave. Full disclosure, on a personal note, I'm one of her teammates, and I can tell you firsthand how much of an inspiration she has been to me and a positive life force for our team. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're all looking forward to her leading our team next season. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jenny Chu, reporting.
Everyone here at Sports Extra is thinking about the Nielsen family. We wish them nothing but the best. We'll be right back. The sun hasn't been the only thing heating up the tennis courts. UNC women's tennis team has been on an impressive winning streak. Let's swing over to our Jasmine Cornwell.
When you've reached your 500th win, you know you must be doing something right. Women's tennis coach Brian Calbus has been at Carolina for 12 years. Like any successful coach, Calbus knows what it's all about.
Great players that really have a tremendous work ethic and have a passion to improve and get better and have the team first mentality.
Calbus was a 4-year varsity player at the University of Notre Dame and became the first assistant coach for the men's tennis team. His success during his tenure helped fuel his drive to later become a head coach.
And we got to the NCAA finals my last year there, so that really helped me and inspired me to be a head coach.
The gender doesn't matter. He's gotten it done on both sides. What's his secret?
R stands for responsibility. E counts for excellence. S stands for the service part of it. The P is doing things purposefully. E is earning it. C is commitment, and the T is togetherness. So those are things that we kind of, as a group, are trying to strive for.
He's made an impact on so many players. Senior Caroline Price has been there for the past 100 wins. She knows how lucky she is to have Calbus as her coach.
He's the kindest individual. He never will raise his voice, but yet he motivates you and he gets the most out of you. I always feel so lucky to go to the school and to be coached by him.
Calbus has so much experience, but he's still pretty young. How much longer can he do this?
Coach that needs to be feeding, needs to be playing, needs to be picking up balls and being active. So as long as I stay active and enjoying it, I think I'll do it for a while.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Jasmine Cornwell reporting.
The #1 ranked North Carolina women's tennis team took on Boston College this weekend. Undefeated sophomore Jamie Loeb lost her first match of the year, but it would not be enough for the Eagles. The Heels won 4 singles points in straight sets and earned the doubles point in easy fashion to cruise to a 5-2 victory. The 26-0 Heels will be the top seed in the ACC tournament. The 15th ranked UNC men's tennis team played its last 2 matches of the regular season this weekend against Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and the Clemson Tigers. The Heels took their rackets to the Jackets first, beating Tech 5-2 on Friday. Next up was the Clemson Tigers. The Heels came away with a tough 4-3 win. UNC finished the regular season 19-9 and ACC play at 8-4. Carolina will take on Boston College Thursday in the first round of the ACC tournament.
So I used to play a little tennis when I was younger, but do you want to know what my real sport was?
Tell me, Molly.
Foursquare.
Ooh, our Michael Coe shows us this game isn't just for the schoolyard.
The Pit is the central hub of the Carolina campus. In fact, one campus myth says that if you stand in it for 24 hours, you'll see every single Carolina student.
But you'll also see this, the UNC Foursquare Club. And don't be fooled by the notion that Foursquare is merely child's play. These guys are serious.
Founder Travis St. Bryce says the idea came to him as a way to hang out with friends.
I think what inspired me would be that I kind of saw the square here, but I didn't see anyone using it. And Foursquare was a big thing with my wrestling team back in high school, so I just wanted to bring it here.
And what started out as a small game between friends has mushroomed into a group with more than 40 likes on Facebook.
Well, obviously it did start off with just a few of us, but then it became just a few people we saw, and they were like, can we join? We're like, yes, please join us.
And Travis's close friend and fellow club member Luke DiGiacomo says the appeal of the game comes from nostalgia.
I think a lot of people, they played it back in elementary school, middle school, and haven't played it since, never crossed their mind, and they see it and they go, oh wow, that looks like a lot of fun. I remember doing that. I had a lot of fun.
But no game of Foursquare would be complete without yours truly. And I wasn't alone. Some fellow Sports Xtra Foursquare enthusiasts joined me. In Chapel Hill, I'm Michael Coe, reporting.
Michael, what are you thinking? Invite us next time.
Molly, you know what else we didn't get invited to? It's like the Grammys, but it's for Tar Heels.
We'll bring you a live preview of the Athletics Awards ceremony, the Rammies, next on Sports Xtra.
Tonight is the night to recognize athletics superlatives. Kylie McCoy is live at Carmichael Arena for the annual awards banquet, the Rammies.
Elena, I'm inside Carmichael Arena right now, where in less than an hour, student athletes will be filing into these seats right behind me. Now, the award that everyone's fighting for tonight looks like this guy right here. He was designed by UNC alum Zoya Johnson, and she told me that she designed 7 different models, each incorporating a different landmark on campus, such as the Old Well and the Bell Tower. Now, I don't have an official award with me right now, but Bubba Cunningham will be unveiling it tonight when the show starts at 7 p.m. Back to you in the studio.
Kylie McCoy live at Carmichael Arena. Enjoy the Rammies, Kylie.
It's been a great semester, and we would like to thank all of the seniors who have been here with us. And thank you all for watching. That does it for this edition of Sports Xtra.
Thanks for watching. Good night.
We did it.
Yeah.